Warzone, especially this year, has become one of my favorite games to play. And the majority of the time I am playing Warzone, I am genuinely enjoying the experience that is provided to me. Even though Warzone is definitely my favorite game to play right now, Warzone is not a perfect game by any stretch of the means. There are some issues with Warzone that, depending on who you ask, are completely game breaking, and I wanted to talk about some of those issues in this video and possibly talk about some of the solutions that Raven Software can bring to Warzone. The first issue that I want to talk about is the overpowered weapon balancing from Cold War weapons compared to Modern Warfare weapons. Right now in Warzone, it makes the most sense to have most of your loadouts consist of Cold War weapons like the MP5, the FARA 83, the XM4, the Cold War AK-47, and the MAC-10. It has really been an issue for Raven Software over the past year to balance out Cold War weapons and Modern Warfare weapons. It just makes the most sense to use Cold War weapons because of the time to kill, the mobility, and the range on some of the assault rifles and SMGs. Going forward, I would like to see Raven Software give some major buffs to the Modern Warfare weapons. There are some Modern Warfare weapons that I really enjoy using, like the Odin, the MP7, and the Kilo. But if I want to stay competitive and if I want to give myself a real chance to win Warzone games, I have to continue to stay with the meta, and the meta over the past few months in Warzone has definitely been Cold War weapons. Dead Silence is also another field upgrade that I believe has no place in Warzone. Dead Silence is a field upgrade that essentially makes your footsteps quiet, and it is the most overpowered field upgrade in Warzone. On top of your footsteps being essentially silent, Dead Silence is too easy to find. It seems like every building that you check or every single box that you open, there's always a Dead Silence available to you. I believe Dead Silence has no place in Warzone because it just gives the opponent too much of an advantage. Dead Silence should have just stayed in Modern Warfare multiplayer, and I believe Dead Silence has definitely ran its course in Warzone, and I believe Dead Silence should be removed or at least toned down a bit. Dead Silence should not be so easy to find if you guys do not want to remove it from the game. One of the tactical equipments that needs to be looked at for a nerf is the stun grenade. When an opponent uses a stun grenade on you, it slows down your character's movement by at least 90%, and your movement stays slow for at least 5 to 7 seconds. You are pretty much like a statue for 5 to 7 seconds when you get hit by that stun grenade, which makes you a very easy target. I cannot count to you guys how many times I have been hit by a stun grenade, or how many times my teammates have been hit by stun grenades, and how frustrated we were after we got killed by stun grenades because there's literally nothing that you can do. There is no perk in the game that counters the effects of a stun grenade, so stun grenades are essentially overpowered and there is nothing that you can do about it. In order for Raven to change this, they either have to add in a specific perk some way for us to counter the stun grenades, or they have to nerf some of the effects of the stun grenade. I believe one of the ways that they can go about fixing this is nerfing the time that you're stunned. Instead of being stunned for about 5 to 7 seconds, they should nerf the time of you being stunned to about 3 to 5 seconds. Or, as I said before, you guys should add to one of the perks in the game some kind of counter that we can have to the stun grenade. One of the counters that you can potentially have to that is giving back some of our movement when we are stunned. So instead of our movement being decreased 80 to 90% without this perk, when we have this specific perk on, our movement is only decreased by 50%. No matter what, Raven Software has to do something to these stun grenades because a lot of players are starting to notice that there is nothing that you can do to counter the stun grenades, and they are starting to abuse the stun grenades. Another issue that has been bothering me recently about Warzone is the new gulag in Season 4 of Black Ops Cold War. The new gulag feels more like a multiplayer map than the spot where the gulag is hosted. The new gulag has 4 corners and 2 big spawns for both players respectively. On top of that, it has a middle cubby where you can kind of sit in where the flag normally spawns if you don't see the opponent, and there's also 2 big round tables on the side of the middle cubby area where you can sit at and run around to make it to the other spawn. In my opinion, that is just too much areas for a person to camp in the gulag. It has been plenty of times where I have been in the gulag and I have been killed by somebody who is either not coming out of the spawn or is sitting in one of the many camping corner spots that they have in the gulag. In my opinion, the gulag should be a place where it forces the 2 opponents to run into each other. I like the gulag from Season 2 where it was just 2 buses in the middle and there was just 3 lanes. I felt like that was the perfect place for a gulag to be. This new gulag feels more like a multiplayer map because it is so big, and I feel like gulag should not be that big. I'm not really a big fan of the gulag, and I honestly have not been a big fan of it since the Season 4 iteration. And even now that Season 4 has been out for about 2 to 3 weeks, the new gulag is still not a favorite of mine. I wish that they would get rid of it. As I said earlier, the best place for a gulag to be is an area where there is 3 lanes and it forces you to come out, or even better, maybe even 1 or 2 lanes. Another issue that has been bothering me much more in Season 4, but this issue really started to bother me in Season 2 and in the beginning of Season 3 when the M16 and the AUG were still meta. Long range meta weapons that have 0 recoil and high damage make it pretty much impossible for you to hop in the cars. Here's what I mean by that. Have you guys ever noticed how easy it is to get beamed out of those vehicles, especially with long range weapons? The fact that most long range weapons from Cold War have 0 to very little recoil, and the fact that the damage is so high on those weapons, hopping inside of vehicles like an ATV or those 4-door cars is pretty much a death trap. It has gotten so bad with the Farah 83 meta because the Farah 83 literally has no recoil at all. I have literally stopped getting into any kind of vehicle unless it is a Big Bertha. If I do not have a Big Bertha or a helicopter at my disposal, I am normally just running across the map or slide canceling for the whole 25-minute match of Warzone. And it's really starting to irritate me because I wish that they would come out with more vehicles that give you more protection from these long-range meta weapons, because the fact that we don't have any vehicles to protect us from these long-range meta weapons, it makes it very hard to get into vehicles and not get beamed out of them unless they are a Big Bertha or a helicopter. As I said earlier, the best solution for this problem is to give us more vehicles with more armor to protect us from these long-range meta weapons, or increase the armor on the vehicles that you have already in the game. The final issue that I have with Warzone is an issue that I decided to save for the end of this video because this issue is talked about so much, especially in YouTube videos and on TikTok and on Twitter. I felt like this issue is readily known to most Warzone players, but I decided to address it again because the issue is still not fixed. The cheaters in Warzone feel like they're getting worse and worse every day. For me personally, if I spend about an 8-hour session on Warzone, I'm more than likely going to run into about 3 or 5 cheaters, and you can tell that they're cheating. And what's even crazier about the cheats nowadays is that the cheats are getting more and more advanced, and they're getting more ridiculous. I seen this clip on Twitter where a guy was literally shooting at the ground and he was knocking people's armor, downing them, and even killing killing them while he was shooting on the ground. There is countless videos that you can look up on Warzone for different walls, different aim bots, different kind of cheats that you can use in the game, and it's starting to make the game very unplayable, especially for a lot of big time streamers, because they're always getting stream sniped or they're always running into one of these cheaters. Warzone needs some kind of anti-cheat implemented in the game as soon as possible, and if they already have an anti-cheat, they need to do a better job of managing it and possibly upgrading the anti-cheat to get rid of these cheaters even faster. The cheating problem has gotten so bad in Warzone that people are starting to accuse big time streamers like Aiden and Swag and even Joe Woe of cheating, and you really can't blame them because cheating is so prevalent in Warzone. You can never really tell who is cheating. We all know cheating in Warzone is an issue, and we all know Raven Software needs to address the issue, and hopefully they address the issue soon, because the cheating problem seems like it is getting worse every season. Those are just some of the issues that I have noticed over Warzone in season 4. As I said in the beginning of the video, no game is perfect, but if some of these issues were addressed and fixed in Warzone, I feel like Warzone will be a more balanced experience and an overall more fun experience for the people who constantly play Warzone like myself. And even for casual gamers, I know that some of these issues that I mentioned in the video affects casual gamers, and they would like some of these issues to be addressed. So hopefully Raven Software gets to working on some of these issues as soon as possible. Let me know what you guys think about some of these issues. Let me know if you guys agree with any of the issues, and if you guys do agree with any of the issues that I put in this video, let me know in the comment section how y'all think Raven Software can address these issues and give a possible fix to them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Thank you so much for watching.